of all, thank you so much for joining us today for our virtual job interviews. Thank you for joining us on our webinar series. Valerie and I decided to put these together because we saw that there were over 30,000 people that were now unemployed. And we knew that we needed to do some type of assistance. So we decided to put on these webinars for you. So we thank you for coming out today and giving up your Fridays and being with us today. So my name is Arlene Flores. I am the job developer here with Huntington Beach Adult School. If you are new to our school and not in our programs, I help support 3 of our programs. And I'm actually built into our Career Tech program, which means when you finish one of our Career Tech programs, it's automatic. You will meet with me, we will go over goals, and together we'll sit down and talk about job placement. A little about my background. When I was 18 years old, I really didn't know what direction I wanted to go into. I was going to college, but I also took a medical assisting course. I have worked as a medical assistant for over 16 years. I used to do urgent care and work comp. I have also done 15 years in career services, where I've had the opportunity to work with different students and help guide them into their careers. So for me, this is a great opportunity. I love this job. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to come speak with you today. So our next person is my partner, Valerie.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. This is our 3rd webinar. If you'll see the flyer on the left shows our series. We've covered on how to access unemployment. We had Davita come and share on resumes, interviews, and LinkedIn. If you don't have one, it's great to have a LinkedIn profile. Today we're covering virtual interviewing, and the next few will be getting started with an entrepreneurship with our partner Cielo. We'll have Davita back to go more in depth about resumes. He's a recruiting analyst for Davita, so he has really good tips for creating a really knockout resume. And then our last one on May 29th will be navigating employment and social services in the Orange County area with our partner Okapica. So I am the college and career specialist, and I work mostly at the mall site, but I do work at Gothard sometimes. And I assist our students who are getting ready to graduate or finish their program transition into further education. Sometimes they're not ready at the time of graduation, but I'll have students come back, 6 months, a year later and say, okay, I'm ready to move forward now. So we're here to provide that service to our students. Since we cannot meet in person, this was the best, second best thing to getting to see our students and provide information on what's happening in this current climate of this virtual reality we're in right now. So without further ado, I will hand it back to Arlene, who is our interview expert, to give us some tips on virtual interviewing.
Okay. And also we have here with us today is one of our IT specialists. We have George here. And George is actually going to be helping us with the PowerPoint. So when you hear me say next, it's because I'm asking George to go ahead and move on to the next slide. And one more thing, Valerie, will you go over the house rules?
Yes, so as you know, with the virtual climate, with Zoom, Teams, things like this, it is important to give the speaker the courtesy. So make sure that your mic is muted. If you wave your mouse in the middle of the screen, you'll see a microphone. If you see a red line through it, it means that you are muted, and then we won't hear any background noise and things like that. We are recording this for people to be able to view it later. So I know my dog has been barking all day, so I'm going to be having mine on mute so I won't be an interruption. And then we also have a chat that's being moderated. If you have questions about the content, we'll stop periodically to answer questions. And Arlene can speak from her years of experience as a job developer. So every few slides we'll stop and we'll answer some of the questions that are in the chat. Make sure you type. If you don't know where the chat is, if you hover your mouse in the middle of the screen, a toolbar will appear and there's 3 dots. There's a little chat box next to that. And if you open that, you'll have a chat on the right and you can type anything, any questions or concerns you have in there. Okay.
Okay, so we'll get started. Thank you guys. All right, so we'll go to the next slide. Okay, so today's goal, we're going to talk about virtual interviews. Today's goal is to best prepare you so that you can enter your interview with confidence, ease, so that way you can land your next job. Next slide, please. All right, so virtual interviews is fast growing. It's the alternative to today's market in order to get hired. 60% of hiring managers and recruiters are now using video interviewing as a way to hire talent. Right now in our job market, if you are a job seeker, more than likely, you're going to be asked to do a virtual job interview due to COVID-19. Employers are finding that it's less time effective, and it gives them an opportunity to weed out candidates and an opportunity to be more face-to-face to meet with you. All right, next slide. So there are two types of interviews. The first one is called a one-way interview. On this interview process, you'll see some job agencies that do this. And what it is you're going to get a series of interview questions. The only difference is it's just you and your screen. There is no real interaction. You'll go through a series of questions and you're going to be recorded on your answers. It's a little bit more awkward because it's just you and the camera and there's no interaction with another person. So when you are doing this, you want to make certain that you are centered to the camera, that you're watching your body posture, and you're watching your hand gestures. I tend to talk with my hands, so I'm trying to be very careful right now. But if I'm doing a one-on-one and I'm talking with my hands, I may be messing with the audio, so they may not hear me as clearly. Next slide, please. The second one is the live video interview. And this one's very much like a face-to-face interview. It's more natural, it's easier, as you're going to be having a conversation with the interviewer or possibly interviewers. Next slide. So today, I'm going to go over 7 tips to be successful on your next virtual interview. Next, please. Okay, so number 1, you want to pick the location. So you're called for a virtual interview. Would you ever invite an interviewer into your messy bedroom? Do you want them to see your unmade bed and all the dirty clothes on the floor? Would you invite them into your messy kitchen so they can see all the dirty dishes that you need to wash? You want to pick a clean location with a neutral background. Let your family members know that you're going to be on an interview. The reason why I say that is so that way there's no distractions. Right now, we're doing this webinar. My daughters are here. My daughters are in their room. I have a dog that tends to cough a lot because he has a heart condition. So my daughter has that dog with her in the room. This is not the time for the interview to bring out your animal so that way they can see this is my dog or these are my kids, because we want to stay professional. You want to give them your full attention. Absolutely no distractions. I'm sure you guys have seen right now on the news some of the distractions that have happened where people are walking past or people are forgetting that they're live. So you just want to avoid that. Barking. Like right now I'm home and I have my windows closed because I do have a neighbor behind me who has 3 dogs, and 3 dogs will tend to start to bark all at the same time. And I wouldn't want that to happen during a job interview, to be distracted. Next slide, please. Number 2, you want to test your equipment. Do a run through to make certain that your technology is working properly. There's going to be different ways that you can do it. You can use a tablet. You can use a mobile device. You could use your laptop, or you could even use your desktop. But you're going to pick whatever you feel the most comfortable with using. Is your internet connection solid? Right now, with us all being home due to COVID-19 in the mornings, if you would have an interview, maybe it wouldn't be the best time because you might have 2 or 3 kids also online doing their schooling. So it might not be the best connection. I know for us, when we've had team meetings, there'll be times where we're in meetings And some of us are actually getting kicked off the meeting because of the internet connection. Or right in the middle of a supervisor speaking, they freeze. So we want to make certain that you pick a good time for the interview. Download whatever system they're going to be using. If they're using Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or Skype, make certain that you download the format. What's your backup plan in case there's a problem? Could there be a problem? Definitely. We're in the virtual world. Anything could happen. So I want to make certain that you have a backup plan. Do you have their phone number in case you need to reach them? Do you have their email address in case you can let them know, I'm having issues. I do want to come in for this interview, but for whatever reason, I can't come in. Because maybe they'll do some type of FaceTime with you instead or do a phone call. But make sure that you do have a backup plan. Next slide, please. Practice, 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 practice. If any of you play a musical instrument, you know that you need to practice in order to be good at it, right? So same thing with interviews. You want to practice with a friend. You're going to practice with the camera. Make certain that the camera is at a right angle. The microphone, so that way you are clear, concise, that they can hear you. Watch your body language. Just like a one-to-one interview, you want to watch it. I don't want to be in a swivel chair and be rocking during my interview because I'm nervous. I don't want them to remember me for that. I want to maintain eye contact. And when I mean eye contact, it means that I'm looking at the camera. Again, practice interview questions because they can ask you almost anything at this point, right? Place the camera where it's flattering. If you have a portable web that you can place it where it's flattering. Never place your camera where it's looking up your nose. We don't want to do that. And on the day of your interview, do not be late. Just like you wouldn't be late for a one-on-one face-to-face interview, you don't want to be late for this as well. You want to make certain that you're signing in on time. Next slide, please. Number 3, you want to make sure you have good lighting. Interviewers need to see you clearly. They want to see your face. They want to see your facial expressions. Try to avoid shadows. They want to get a better sense of your personality. So yes, you can bring your personality to the interview as well, because this is going to help them make a decision as well. You do not want to be forgotten because you had poor lighting, they couldn't see you. Like right now, I was sharing with Valerie before we came on, I was trying my best with the lighting here in the house. So me and my daughter set up the camera on top of, I think it's a 12-pack of soda. I have my big bay window in front of me. I have another window here on the side of me, and I have my bedroom lamp here. So that way I could try to get as much lighting as I possibly can. But at the same time, you don't want too much light to where it's going to wash you out, and then they can't see you clearly. If you need to, you can also invest in a ring light. Some of you may have teenagers who are already having webcam shows or so forth. So maybe they may already have one that you could borrow. Next slide, please. Step number 4, audio. Make sure your audio is working properly. You want to make sure that your voice is coming out clear and audible. If you need to, you can wear earbuds, so that way you can clearly hear them. You want to speak clear and concise. Again, watch your movements, because if you're moving around a lot, it could mess with the audio in your microphone. You also want to listen and let your interviewer speak. We don't want to be rude, and we do not want to interrupt them. So let them finish asking the question, so that way you can reply back. It's okay to let them know that you're nervous, because at any interview, you will be nervous, whether we're face-to-face or we're on a virtual world. So it's okay to let your interviewer know, especially if they give you a tough question. I'm so sorry, I'm just a little nervous right now. Could you please repeat that? Or could you please rephrase that question for me? They understand that you're nervous. Again, practice with a friend so you can practice projecting your voice. You don't want to be the person during the interview where they're saying, we can't hear you. Hello, speak up. Can you get closer to the mic? We can't hear you. That is not what you want to be remembered for. Next slide. Angle your camera properly because you want to flatter yourself. I let you know earlier that my camera is actually on a 12-pack of diet soda. So that way I can properly be seen. So that way you can get the full center of me so you can see me instead of just the top of my head. You don't want to be too close because we don't want to zoom up all the way to the camera. And I don't want to be too far away where you can't see me. You want to be at least arm's length from your camera. Watch your angle of the camera. Remember, interviewer does not want to look up your nose. And always position yourself where you're at the center of the computer. Next slide, please. Dress appropriately. Just because we're in the virtual world does not give you the excuse that you can come in a sweatshirt or a t-shirt. You want to dress appropriately for this. If you are a man, I suggest that you wear a dress shirt with a tie. For women, let's wear a dress shirt and let's wear a blazer. You want to pick colors that are flattering, that are going to be flattering to your skin tone, nothing distracting. Don't be tempted not to wear pants, guys, or coming in here in your boxers. I have a picture up above of Will Reeves, and I'm pretty sure you guys heard that he had an interview. I'm not sure if it was Good Morning America or so forth, but you can kind of see his leg there. So people were saying that they think he showed up in his boxers, even though he said that he showed up in shorts. But do you want to be remembered as the person of, were they wearing shorts or were they in their underwear? That's not what you want to be remembered for. It's okay. You can wear jeans, pajama bottoms, yoga pants. I'm wearing jeans right now. Would I ever wear jeans for a job interview? Never. I would always make sure that I'm dressed appropriately. All right, next slide, please. Increase your energy. For this, it's so different because we're virtual. So you want to make sure you have energy. I've seen so many people when they are either, well, I've seen people in person who do it as well, but even in virtual where there's no energy, where they're talking and it's like, tell me about yourself. I'm a hard worker. I'm dedicated and I need a job. There's no energy. You want to have energy. Let them know what you bring, all the great skills that you're bringing, even your volunteer work. You want to make sure that you're smiling. Bring your beautiful smile to the interview. That's the most important thing. And did you know that even for men on virtual world, it's okay to borrow your wife's powder for your face? So that way, maybe you're not a little shiny. It's okay. Your energy is going to translate over on the screen. So you want to make sure that you're bringing it. Next slide. Practice, practice, practice. Practice interview questions and your answers on camera. Careful with your gestures. Print your resume so you have it there handy. They have no idea if your resume is right in front of you. So you want to make sure that you have it there with you. Of course you know what your work experience is, but sometimes during an interview, we get nervous. So I even suggest to people I work with to take your resume with you anytime you go on a job interview. Because what happens if they didn't have a copy of it or they had computer issues? I have it in front of me, so in case my brain freezes. Of course I remembered when I worked there. Of course I can remember what I did. Wait, oh my gosh, this person came off a little bit harsh with me. I kind of forgot some of my job duties. It gives you an opportunity to glance down at your resume so that way it brings it all back to life for you. Have whatever documentations that you need in front of you. This is not the time, if you're on an interview and they give you a tough question, to pull out your phone and start researching what the answer is. That's not the time to do it because they can see you. So, and also talking about your cell phones, make certain that you silence your cell phone if you have it there in front of you. They don't need to hear what your ringtone is. No texting during the interview as well. So practice, practice, practice. Even practice in front of the mirror if that's what it takes for you to ace the job. Next slide, please. So you want to prepare for the job interview because now we're going to have a new set of questions that could be sent to us. Of course, you guys are going to be asked, tell me about yourself. But Since we've been in this pandemic, we're going to get a new set of questions. They want to know, what have you learned about yourself during the pandemic? It can help an employer to determine how you manage your emotions when you were faced with a crisis. Can you do the job while you're working from home? They want to check your ability that you can work from home. Do you have the resources? Are they available? Do you have a dedicated workspace? Are you willing to work from an office when the pandemic is over? There are some people who decide that they don't want to go back to an office. They want to work remote only. But you want to make certain that when you apply for this job, that there is the possibility that more than likely you are going to go back to the office setting. So make certain that all your answers are truthful. Next slide, please. More questions that could be possibly asked to you. How have you been spending your time? Most of us are home right now. And some of us are working from home, some of us aren't. So they want to know what it is that you've been doing with your time. How have you been dealing with the stress? They want to see the value that you're going to bring to the company. This is a great time to mention, are you volunteering right now? Perhaps you're volunteering and you're doing Meals on Wheels. Perhaps you are just encouraging friends, loved ones, the elderly who go to church with you by making a phone call with them to make certain that they're safe. Maybe you're the one who's going out to the grocery store for them, making sure that you're getting everything that they need, so that way they're not being put at risk. Are you sharpening your skills? Are you on YouTube? Are you learning new skills? How to be better in Excel? Are you maybe taking a dance class? This is a great time to mention this. During an interview process, whether we're virtual or face-to-face, they're going to say, do you have any questions for us? Please never walk away and say, oh no, I'm good. You answered all my questions. They want to know. This is a great opportunity. If you don't know what the work environment is, then ask. What's the plan? Yes, we're having an interview right now, but what's the onboard processing right now? Do I get to start in a week? In a month? Are you going to wait till the pandemic is over and is that when I'm going to start? So these are all good questions to ask. Next slide. Okay, so now we're going to show a little video for you to help out, just with new tips, just to kind of reinforce what we're talking about.
So you're going to be interviewed over Skype, and you want to look better than this. Well, here are 4 easy keys you can apply to look good in Skype interviews. Key 1, sound. Having good sound is just as important as having good video.
An empty room like this might sound fine to you in normal conversation, but it creates an annoying echo for anyone listening on video, especially if the floor isn't carpeted.
Basically, the more stuff that's in the room to deflect the sound, the less echo. And make sure there's no loud noises in the background. Loud office conversations, construction, and air conditioner. These will make your interview painful to listen to. Key 2, location. Create a good background. This one is not good. It makes me look like a total slob. This one is too distracting. What's that guy doing back there? In this one, just make sure you don't have anything embarrassing in the background. Keep it neat and simple. A white wall is usually too plain, so I set up a bookshelf like this. You can also use a house plant, a lampshade, a piece of art, etc. If you're at the office, you can set up a clean desk with a computer in the background. Now you're probably using a laptop with a built-in camera or a webcam like this. Notice how the camera is actually several inches below my eyes. So when you're looking through the camera, if you angle it at your face, it shows the ceiling. So you want to stack it up on a box like this. Basically, you want the camera at eye level because this is the way people are used to seeing you. And you want to be a little more than arm's length from the camera. So you're about this size in the frame. And you want your eyes to be about 2/3 of the way to the top. Key 3, Lighting. Good lighting makes a huge difference. Professional lighting uses 4 light sources, but you really only need 1. If it's daytime, you can just use a window. If it's too bright, pull the shades. You need the window to be pretty much in front of you, not to the side or behind. Wow, I think I found the worst interview setup ever. If it's nighttime and there's no window nearby, grab a lamp. Don't use overhead lighting like this. It makes you look terrible. And definitely don't light yourself from below, unless you're telling scary campfire stories. What you want is a lamp in front of you, like this one, with the light slightly above the height of your eyes while you're sitting down. Of course, this one is great because I can adjust the levels, but pretty much any lamp will do. If it's too bright, try moving it back. If it's too dim, just move it a little closer. Key 4, you. Now that everything else is set up, make sure you look good. Dress appropriately, at least on top. You might want to wear makeup. Yeah, even some men do it. And don't look down at the computer screen while being interviewed. Look directly at the camera. Now, this might feel a little weird to you at first, but to the people watching, it looks like you're looking directly at them, which is good. And try not to move too much. Even just a few inches back and forth can be really distracting. So to recap, find a quiet place without distracting sounds. Set up a good background. Set your camera at eye level, arm's length away. Make sure you have good lighting, and make sure you look good. Now I've put all this into a checklist for you, and you can find it in the link below the video. That's it. Good night, and good luck.
Okay, guys, so I hope that kind of helped you, kind of reinforced it. So also we have a lot of great tools that are going to help you. And for this slide, I'm going to let Valerie go ahead and explain this one to you.
Thank you, Arlene. You're doing a great job. How are you guys doing out there? Okay, you can't answer because you're on mute. That's okay. So we have a great tool that we use with our students, and it's free to the public. So if you have friends or family who need to create a resume, a cover letter, practice interviewing, you can come to our website, hbas.edu. And George is going to take us there now, and I'm going to show you where it is. This is our main website. We have a lot of resources listed there for our students. Just work yourself over to the Student Support tab and come down to the College and Career Specialist, which is me. And right there, you'll see a blue button called Optimal Resume. It's a little bit fuzzy for some reason, but just to kind of give you the steps to show you how to get there. If you click on the Optimal Resume, you'll create an account, and it'll populate into a resume. You can see in the middle, you can either do a resume, a letter, or an interview. You can even create your own website. So if you wanted to have a link to your website on your resume, you could do that. This is just kind of what it looks like. But the nice thing, if you have a camera on your computer webcam, you can videotape yourself doing an interview. Mm-hmm. The beautiful thing about Optimal Resume is it has over 1,000 common resume questions in their data bank. You can click 5 of them that you think you might be asked. The interviewer will ask the question, and then another person will come and give an explanation of why what the question really means. What are they truly asking on that question? And then you can actually answer it and record yourself. So this would also work for practice with the type of virtual interviewing that Arlene was talking about, where it's one way, where they're saying, okay, record yourself and then submit your video of your interview answers. So it's really, really good practice. I've used it. We've all, even staff use it to brush up on our interviewing skills. And it's good because you get used to recording yourself. You can tell if you're too quiet, if you're too loud, if you're too close, if you're too far. And especially if you have a webcam in your computer, it's a very valuable tool, and it's absolutely free. We use it all the time with our students in our career tech programs as part of our diploma program for people who are looking for jobs. And that is available to you on our website. So I hope you'll take advantage of it.
and beautiful resumes. They create so many professional resumes. So even if you decide I really don't know how to write a resume, if you check out Optimal Resume, there's so many samples to pick from. It makes it so easy for you. And remember, the purpose of your resume is not so much to get you the job. The purpose of your resume is to get you the job interview. The purpose of the interview is to get you the job. So we want to start off with a knockout resume. Next slide. So Valerie, you want to talk about the next?
Yes, thank you. This is the end of our webinar. I hope that you have listened to some of these great 7 tips, and that video just really drove it home about the importance of lighting, audio. I recommend definitely having Zoom on your computer downloaded already so that you're not struggling with some technical difficulties right when the interview is about to start. It shows that you're polished and professional, like you've been doing this for years. I encourage you to join our next webinar, which is part of our essential skills in the new economy. Many people are using this as an opportunity to branch out with a side gig, entrepreneurship. They're just saying this is the perfect time to do it. Cielo is our partner, and they have been helping people like this lady in the flyer create new businesses. So Mia's Catering, they helped her create a business plan. They helped her target her audience for who her customers are going to be, helped her learn marketing techniques on social media. And this is done either through workshops kind of like this, but also they have one-on-one coaching, and it's completely free. Arlene and I go to their showcase every year where they showcase all the entrepreneurs that they've helped, all different, jewelry making, swim lessons, flooring, cleaning services, and they also offer in Spanish some of the workshops. So if you know anybody who's interested in using this time to become an entrepreneur and can use a little support, make sure they tune in using the same link that you joined this webinar today for next week, and it will work for the next 3 Fridays of our webinars. We want to take this time to take any questions that you might have about virtual interviewing or anything else job related. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Can you show the Ocapica one again? Okay. Our final webinar on the 29th. Next week will be Cielo, and then we'll have Davida doing resumes, and then this is our last one, Ocapica, navigating employment and social services. So you're not alone in this climate with COVID-19. There are plenty of social services available to assist you with job search, resume creation, all the things we talked about, but also mental health, housing, maybe getting a computer if you don't have one to access school and things like that. So make sure you join us on our final webinar where Ocapica will be helping us learn to navigate all the resources that are available to us and offering their services. So yes, this was recorded and we will post it to the website and the teams for later viewing.
But thank you so much for coming. We so appreciate you giving up your Friday afternoon to be with us. Me and Valerie so appreciate it. And please know that we're not there physically to help you, but we are still here. There's a way that you could reach us. You can reach us via our email, and we will get back to you. If you are one of our students, you can reach us via Teams. On your Teams, there is a student support tab there, and you can ask us any questions, or you can reach out via chat. But thank you for the opportunity to be here to help you. We know this is challenging times for all of us. So please reach out and ask for help.
Question.
And we hope that you'll be around for our next webinar.
Arlene?
Yes.
There's a question from one of our teachers about the job board. Are those employers using virtual interviews? Just wondering, because we looked at the job board in class.
Some of them are. I do have a student who attended actually our first webinar, and she visited the job board, and she actually got a job position, and she shared with me that on one of her job interviews, it was a virtual. There are some, maybe they'll ask you to come in person. It all depends on how comfortable you feel right now. But I know for myself during this time, if I'm asked to come to a face-to-face interview, I am walking in with my face mask because I want to make certain that there is a distance for us to go ahead and have this interview, because I do want to look out for my safety, just like I want you to look out for your own personal safety as well. But yes, some of these employers may be asking for a virtual interview right now. Good question.
And also, you might request a virtual interview if you feel that you aren't ready to take a risk of going face-to-face. You know, you can always initiate that question and request a virtual interview.
Does anybody else have any other questions?
Yeah, talking about the job board, is it on the Huntington Beach Adult School website or is it in other websites?
It's on our webpage. So if you go to our webpage, do you remember how Valerie, how George kind of guided us to find optimal resume?
Yes.
It's the same way. You go to the webpage and you click on student support. When you click on student support, there's going to be a tab that says job board.
Yeah.
And on that job,
okay.
I try to update it every week. Now, these jobs, of course, are not medical assistant, medical billers, farm tech. What they are is what I call survival jobs right now. So those jobs are there for our students, for your friends, your family, anybody that you know who are struggling and they need a job. I shared with you on our first webinar, we had a grad who came, and she'd been waiting for over a month for her unemployment to come through, and she hadn't received a check. Is she going to get it? Definitely, she's going to need it. She's going to get it, but she needed the money now. So she did visit that tab and she applied and she's working now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I posted the
question?
link. I also posted the link in the chat, Diane. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Christine Tran, Christine Morales, Heidi.
Thank you. Thank you everybody who came out and showed support.
Thank you so much for your support.
And if later in the day you decide, oh man, I should have asked this question. Remember I shared with you, we are just an email away. So feel free to email us. You can email us both. You can email us separately if there's a question that you want answered. And if we're not able to answer that question, we're going to go ahead and make sure that we do get that answer for you. But thank you so much for joining us. We truly appreciate it. We hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday. And above all, be safe.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you.
Tammy, so good to have you. Thank you, Nami. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be posting the video to our website and to the teams for later viewing. You can stop recording. Thank you.